Welcome to Nintendo Ninja News. I'm your host, Chris Tyson. We're here to talk about the mystery of the no D-pad on the Nintendo Switch. Now, there have been complaints about why there is no D-pad on the Nintendo Switch, but I'm going to explain to you why there isn't a D-pad. It's pretty simple, but I think most people just ignore that part of the discussion when they are having an old-fashioned whinge. Pretty simple. The Nintendo Switch is supposed to give you two controllers out of the box in the console box. If one has a D-pad and the other one doesn't, you really can't play two-player because one might be given an advantage over the other. That's a pretty simple explanation. You know, if I'm playing Smash Brothers, the other person has a D-pad, they might have some sort of advantage, or 2D scrolling game or Street Fighter or something like that. It would be unfair that one person has that and the other one. Now, some people say, well, why don't you just get Pro controllers? And that's true. You could just get a Pro controller and not deal with the Joy-Con issue. However, yes, once again, there's more complaints about, yes, maybe this D-pad is not the best D-pad that you've ever gotten for the Nintendo Switch. Now, yes, the Super Nintendo D-pad is better, and probably some of the others. But this is not the worst D-pad. The worst D-pad is on the GameCube. So don't think it's a terrible D-pad. Now, personally myself, I haven't really had much desire to have a D-pad on the Nintendo Switch. Even when I played Wonder Boy, I just played it with the analog stick, and that was fine. It actually worked out pretty well. But for some who are very enthusiastic and passionate about these type of genre of games, they really do want that sort of D-pad experience on the Switch. Now, the only solution that I can really come up with without just redesigning the Switch would be just to sell a single Joy-Con with a D-pad on it. They can sell it for 50, 70 bucks, or $70 here in Australia. And they can say, if you want a D-pad on your Switch, then go and get it. That's the only solution I can think of. But it seems like maybe a lot of people don't use the single Joy-Cons as controllers. Probably most adults don't. But I know some children do. Some people do like the small controllers that they can use and play around with. So it might not be for you, but there are maybe others who use that feature of the Joy-Con on the split. So that is my solution, basically, is to release a single Joy-Con with a D-pad, or get a Pro controller. I think it's not that much of an issue. If it was such a big deal with not having a D-pad on the Nintendo Switch, I think there would be a lot of people hounding Nintendo to make a solution. But by the look of things, there's some grumblings by people online and things like that. But I think in general, people are pretty happy with it. It has sold 10 million for a reason in the first 9 months. But we'll see what happens. What do you think? Do you want a D-pad on the Nintendo Switch or not? So, that is it for me, and I shall see you next time.